Welcome to the latest episode of Am I the Bum by Tail Square, where we dive into stories where people grapple with whether their actions were justified. Up next, am I the bum for glowing up after my divorce but not before? Am I the bum for glowing up after my divorce and not before? I, 53F, have been divorced from my ex-husband Larry, 54M, for 6 years. Larry and I have 2 adult children, Steve, 27M, and Carla, 25F. Larry and I met in college when we were both electrical engineering students. We were both very much on the nerdy side and looked the part, but were very attracted to each other, so I thought anyway. We got married soon after we graduated and both worked as engineers. But after a few years, Larry decided he wanted to go to law school to become a patent lawyer. In order to look the lawyer part, Larry underwent a major glow-up during this time on pretty much all levels: tailored clothes, fancy haircuts, designer accessories like watches, etc., along with working out to trade his dad bod for a lean gym bod. During this time, I was raising our small children, while taking care of about 95% of household matters because of his long working hours, all while working full-time. I admit I did not glow up along with Larry. My own appearance has always been on the plainer side. I'm not overweight, but a bit stocky, 5'5", 140 pounds, simply cut hair, glasses, practical clothes, not much makeup. Larry loved me as is for about the first decade of our relationship, but after he started working as a lawyer, he started to become drawn to more conventionally attractive women and had several affairs. When I pressed for counseling, he said that the issues were things like my big nose and post-baby belly, not things I could fix with a simple makeover. I was getting organized to ask for a divorce when Carla was hit by a car while riding her bike. She survived and is fine now, but needed several years of intensive surgeries and rehab. In order to provide a unified front for Carla and Steve, Larry and I agreed to stay married and be as cordial as possible. He continued to see other women during this time, but by this time I was past trying to get him to be faithful. We did separate and divorce after Carla went off to college. Larry is remarried now to a much younger woman, 33F. In the past couple of years, I have actually decided to focus more on myself, including my appearance. Now that my children are grown and out of the house, and I don't have to worry about tiptoeing around a difficult husband, I finally have time and resources to do so. I didn't get a nose job or other plastic surgery like Larry had wanted, but I did update and color my hair, started working out more, lost about 15 pounds, got a new wardrobe, and actually started dating. I don't have a steady partner yet, but regularly go at age-appropriate singles events and go on dates. Unfortunately, my children detest the new me. In particular, they blame me for the divorce and are angry that I didn't glow up to accommodate Larry, saying I was too selfish and lazy to do so when it mattered. My son Steve is getting married soon and says he is too angry to invite me to the wedding. Carla has gone low contact with me. I had great relationships with both of them until I started my own glow-up process a couple of years ago, which was a few years after Larry and I finalized our divorce. Steve and Carla have told me that the only way to fix this, the only thing that would be fair, is to go back to the way I was before, meaning stop coloring my hair, dress in my former plain/frumpy way, and stop dating. They say they are most upset about the dating, and that it's not fair for me to be looking for a new partner. So, am I the bum for everything I have done here? For not improving my appearance until after I got divorced? I really don't think Larry would have been faithful to me no matter how much I twisted myself in knots. I felt I did the best I could given the energy and resources I had, and while it may seem selfish, I do believe I deserve to have my own life now, but I am open to other opinions if I have done something wrong here. Not the bum at all. What did I just read? Your kids sound like spoiled, entitled selfish people, so they blame you for the divorce even though their dad cheated. Focus on yourself and your own life and go completely NC with your children. You can love them from a distance. You spent years sacrificing your own happiness for theirs. It's finally your time to be happy. Not the bum. Your children are being immature and selfish despite being old enough to know better. Eventually they may come to regret how they treated you, but what's most important is that you deserve to be happy. I applaud your self-improvements and wish you the best of luck on your journey to find happiness the second time around. Am I the bum for exposing my ex-husband's family after his death? I, 40Fs, and my ex-husband, Chris, 45M, were married for 13 years and divorced in October of last year. On July 22nd, he sadly passed away unexpectedly, and his family is acting like he never existed. I decided to wait until after his memorial picnic to post about this. Today is September 1st, and there was no memorial at this picnic at all, so I knew I had to say something about it. Below is what I posted. Monday, July 22nd, 2024, 6:18 p.m. I got the call that Chris had passed away, and I needed to come pick up our dog. I feel like my whole world stopped that day. Everyone else just keeps moving forward, but I'm stuck in that moment, in those words forever. Chris and I had met and started dating when I was 14 years old, and although that initial relationship obviously didn't last, We reconnected as adults and eventually got married and raised our children, his stepchildren, together for 14 years, from the ages of 6 years old and newborn. When his father passed away in March 2016, he broke in a way I couldn't imagine. Our marriage struggled, and we ultimately divorced in October 2023. Despite the dissolution of our marriage, our love was still there, and we continued to be there for each other whenever the other needed it. He was truly my rock. When I got to his mother's house where he had been living, I was told the most awful story of what had happened that day. From what his mother says, she went up to his room around 11 a.m. to see if he was awake, and she found him lying on the floor moaning. Instead of rendering aid, she told him to get off the floor and go to bed. She left him that way on the floor in distress. At 3 p.m. she came back to his room to check on him, and he was still on the floor, moaning. Again, she rendered no aid and told him to get off the floor. She left him again. When she came back to his room at 6 to see if he wanted dinner, he was cold. She admits she didn't attempt CPR because she knew he was already gone, and her first call wasn't to 911 but Chris' sister. Not even 24 hours after he passed, the family had his bedroom and all his belongings cleaned out of the house, as if he had never existed. There's more personal things that I have learned in the last few days that just make my anger towards his family greater, but I really do hate these people, especially his mother, for what happened. You'll never be able to convince me that had his mom called 911 at 11 a.m., he might have had a chance and still be here with us. I feel alone in my grief, and like I'm not entitled to feel this way because we were divorced. His family is shutting me and my children out like we didn't exist, and there's nothing I can do about any of it. Plans are being made and possessions given away without any consideration to me and my children. I just feel like Chris wouldn't have been okay with any of this, but his family doesn't seem to care. It's whatever is cheapest and easiest for them. Not the bum. You are not the bum for expressing your grief and anger towards your ex-husband's family. Their actions, especially his mother's negligence and their disregard for his memory and your family's feelings, are deeply upsetting and disrespectful. It's understandable that you feel alone in your grief, and you have every right to speak out against their behavior. Am I the bum for breaking up with my boyfriend in front of his friends over a girl bestie? We have been together for 8 months and officially 4. I love him honestly, and everything was great. We met each other's family and friends and the whole thing. On Saturday, I was meeting with him and his friends, and he was to introduce me to his best friend from college. Let's call her Karen. She came 1.5 hours late, and he refused to order until she was there. I wasn't very hungry, so I didn't mind at first, but then she came without apologies or anything. She just nodded hi when he introduced us. The other 2 friends were with their girlfriends, and they weren't very glad to have waited before dinner. Her explanation was that she got caught up in a game. We are all way in our 30s. Then she got a bit drunk and was all over my boyfriend, and the first time she talked to me was to tell me, "I hope that you aren't like the other girls and get intimidated by our friendship." I was like, what? I don't get intimidated by other women. She insisted that she was the reason my boyfriend and all his exes broke up. My boyfriend then interjected, agreeing with her. I asked how so, and he said, jealousy, and some have given me an ultimatum, and I would never choose an insecure girl that I have known for 8 months over a friend who I've known for years. She was giggling the whole time. I was a bit uncomfortable, and I said, women don't usually have problems with other women. You speak about this happening with multiple women? What are the odds that they were all wrong when there's a common denominator? She started laughing and saying that I was just like them and my boyfriend, like I've seen him for the first time in his pathetic form, said, well yeah, this goes for us too. If you make that ultimatum, then it is over for us too. I just said that he needn't worry because I am better than playing pick-me in my 30s, so I am bowing out. I left the restaurant and transferred my part of the bill to him. Now he said that I was the bum for breaking up without a discussion, and for doing it in front of his friends like that was embarrassing. His friends thought I did great, and they didn't think I was the bum at all, and they were laughing and making burn sounds when I left, so he found it embarrassing. I know for a fact that I am gonna continue being friends with my girlfriends because I have known them for 8 months now and we like each other. The other thing is that I was the bum for giving up on us so easily, but I disagree. I usually don't give up on people I respect. His and her behavior just made me think it wasn't worth one more second. But he said that it was wrong because he loves me and I like him. Not the bum. It's refreshing to see people stand up for themselves and know their worth. Your boyfriend immediately showed what a loser he was over her, and ain't nobody got time for that. I wonder how many girlfriends he will lose before he wakes the hell up. Probably way too many more. Dude is going to be single for a long time. His best friend forever is definitely the reason no one will want to be with him. Good on you for putting them in their place and having self-respect, not the bum.